What up, tribe? 11:58 a.m. Thank you. Daylight savings time. Sunday, the 11th of March, 2018. Central Daylight Time. Planet Earth. So, I've been driving around, as I'm wont to do, thinking as I do often, which is amazing that my brain still works, because I'm pretty damn sure I gave myself a concussion yesterday, and then proceeded to do all the things that you're not supposed to do after you get a concussion, such as take a 5-hour nap. 5-hour nap. Oh God, what a blessing a 5-hour nap on a Saturday afternoon is. I'm like refreshed and restored, and then I got 8.5 hours of sleep last night. 14.5 hours of sleep in like a 36-hour period. Man, I'm unstoppable. Yeah, I was getting into the skid steer yesterday, a little Bobcat machine, and I stepped up into that machine with all my considerable leg strength and smashed my head right into a steel bar, and I had to hold on for about 90 seconds. I saw all the Tweety birds and everything and the stars, and yep. Oh, it was grand. So this was right about noon yesterday, and then I felt inclined to no longer operate that piece of equipment. So got in the truck and drove home, and then ate a little bit of lunch. Didn't have much of a hunger, and then of course my stomach started hurting, and my neck, man, my whole neck was like that is a direct quote from my vertebrae in my neck when I smashed my head into that thing. So that's cool. A bit of radiating pain down from behind the earlobe, down through the trapezius into the shoulder socket, and that's fun, but whatever. So yeah, I'm glad that everything's a trade-off. I got the nap that I wanted, but I had to sustain a concussion to get it, so that was cool. Anyway, driving around thinking about y'all, about what nuggets shall I deliver today, and what's kind of been on my heart today. I'm driving from the North Texas area to Texarkana and back, as I do occasionally. And it's about a 6-hour drive round trip, 3 there, 3 back, a couple hundred miles each way. And it gets me thinking. I know that there are a lot of people that have long range bug outs. I've done a considerable amount of research into this myself because of the dynamic situation related to our living arrangements currently. So there are a lot of people that their projected bug out is 200 miles to 500 miles. Which begs the question, how long is too long? What is the distance here that is too much? I gotta tell you, the thought of 200 miles to me is just, whoa, dude. And I'm basing that off of this. Every day that I'm navigating from where I am when it all hits the fan to where I need to be, to my homestead, is a day that my family is subsisting without me on that end, right? It's a day that the tribe, that the group is down a man, right? So my ability to get home in a timely manner directly affects the ability of everybody else to function. And I have to prepare on my end, not just for me to be, on the road or on foot for 200 miles, on the road being my preference by far, I have to prepare on their end that they need, minimum the number of days that I'm on foot headed home, right? That's the number of days that the tribe and my family is without me. That they're going to need that much more food put up, that much more ammo put up, that much more, whatever put up and tucked away to get along without me. So that's part of why when I put together the long range bug out bag, I also put together the Homestead Defender bag, which you can search the channel and find that if you haven't seen it. Everything on this channel is a concept. Nothing is hard and fast, right? Because if you get married to one thing, you do something this way, it has its limitations, it has its drawbacks, right? You need to always be evolving because life is dynamic. So that bag is a thought piece, just like everything else here. It's a thought piece. It's the concept of, while I'm on the road headed home, if my wife had to put some rounds on target and squirt out the side door, she has one bag she can grab to do that with. Or if a buddy of mine, a tribe member is at the house or anywhere else and I need to hand them a rifle and some sustainment, I can hand them that pack and they can handle business. So, for me, it's not an either or equation, it's a both equation. Days away from the house for me has to be accounted for both on my end and on their end. So I'm not really comfortable with anything more than 200 miles. Frankly, I'm not terribly comfortable with 200 miles. But it is what it is for the time being. But I see these people that have 400, 500 mile bug outs. Let's do the math. Okay, you're going to be, most people are carrying more weight in their packs than they should be. Most people exercise far less frequently than they should. Combine those two things, I think you're going to be lucky to get 10 miles a day. I mean, really lucky. And a lot of people who don't carry, who don't ruck and don't walk, don't hike. And rucking, by the way, is not just like walking with a pack on. You need to move with a purpose. I was just telling my kids that this morning. They're walking around the house like zombies. Boy, move with a purpose. They come alive real quick after that. You need to move with a purpose, right? So you're not just schlepping all this crap on your back at 0.4 miles per hour. You need to be able to walk sustainably. I mean, 20 minutes a mile, right? But you're gonna take rests, you're gonna take breaks, you're gonna need to use the facilities sooner or later. You're gonna need to put calories in your face, hydrate, the whole nine, right? 20-minute mile, it's 2.5 miles an hour. I'm pretty dang sure most of y'all can't move at that pace for more than 4 hours straight. And if that makes you bristle with pride, that's called conviction, sir. And I would recommend that you go and prove me wrong. So we'll just go with 10 miles a day. If you are trying to go 500 miles, that's 50 days. If you need just 1,000 calories a day, maintenance, which you'll need more than that, but just maintenance calories, 1,000 calories a day, which, by the way, you can easily burn 5, 6, 8,000 calories a day rucking, depending on the season and the amount of weight that you're carrying and the terrain that you're crossing. But it's just 1,000 calories a day. That's 30 pounds of rice that you need to carry to go 500 miles of just rice, empty carbohydrates. They're not even complex carbohydrates, they're just basic carbs, right? 30 pounds. That's too much. That's too much when you've already got a whole bunch of other crap you don't need in your rucksack. So, how far is too far? How long is too long? It also depends on who do you have on the other end. If it's you going to a cabin in the wilderness, take your sweet time. I mean, more or less, you're going to be exposed to the elements. You're You're going to be exposed to outside forces. You know, I think you get from A to B as quickly as you can without endangering or injuring yourself, but don't lollygag, don't stop to smell the roses. You're on a mission, get from A to B. But if there's nobody dependent on you at B, then you can set more of a relaxed pace, I would say. Something else to consider, and I'm thoroughly considering this, I'm thinking very hard about it, is pre-positioned caches along the way. I don't really care how you pronounce that word. We'll go with cache. It makes me want to put my pinky up in the air and drink tea. So let's say hypothetically you're going to shoot for 10 miles a day. Okay, so every 50 miles and you have 200 miles to go, right? So you're going to start with 5 days worth of food in your pack. Okay, I'd probably start with 7, so you got 2 days of cushion. Right, then take a 5-gallon bucket, fill it with another 7 days worth of food, and bury it somewhere along your trail at about the 50-mile mark. Then go to the 100-mile mark, bury another bucket with 7 days worth of food. Go to the 150-mile mark, bury another bucket with 7 days worth of food. And then your 200-mile mark is home, right? So you got 3 buckets with each with a week's worth of food in it. Plus you got a week's worth of food on your back. That's 30 days, 28 days technically. It's a month's worth of food that you've got pre-positioned. And you might look at putting some redundancy in those buckets as well. Maybe some rifle ammunition, pistol ammo if you're into that. A couple spare magazines, first aid equipment, maybe a spare water filter, a Sawyer Mini or a Life Straw. Although I really think the Life Straw is overrated. So if that's your primary source for filtration, I disagree. Sawyer Mini or Kettydyne Hiker or the Kettydyne Vario, there's some really good ones. Esbit tablets for maybe a little stove. Maybe you have your little propane tanks for your little micro stoves for your hiking, backpack stoves. Put those in there. Some more, come on, brain, iodine tablets, OTC meds, prescription meds if you're on them. Make you a nice little care package and put it down the trail. I'm leaning toward this. I'm leaning toward that because if I do that, maybe I'll be out a couple $100 overall, like $200. And just while we're at it, I don't have a ton of money. I'm not made of money. I just get by with less elsewhere in my life so that I can dedicate more money to preparedness, because I do believe that right now we are in the fat times and we need to put away for the lean times that are coming. So if I spend $200 on these buckets, that'd be about $70 a bucket, which I think is more than adequate for everything that we've discussed thus far. And I dig a hole, mark the location, put the bucket in there, get a GPS and take down the lat and longe of the location on that, put it in my GPS. As I'm traversing my route home, I can navigate towards those waypoints and resupply. So I would highly recommend that if you have a long bug out, sir and madam, you are not carrying all that food on your back. The end. And I do think that calories are going to be relatively hard to come by. I think they're available to you if you look hard enough, and you can trap and you can hunt and you can fish, but that also slows you down. So things to think about: firepower versus mobility. Maybe having a forward pre-positioned cache is the way to go with it. So that's where I'm at. The edge of my comfort is 200 miles, and I mean literally that is the edge of my comfort. So if you have one longer than that, think about it. Fill up some Home Depot buckets and put them along your trail. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.